Engage in acts of necessity and mercy. Engage in acts of necessity and mercy. Now let's talk about each one. You know, the reformers had a category in their mind, and they draw this from the example of Christ. Um, it's an unrealistic world where all work can be avoided on a holy day. Right, right. There's work that has to be done. If you live on a farm, the cows have to get milked, right? Right. The dog has to be taken out, unless you want your carpet soiled. Um, Food has to be prepared in some manner, right? Even if you're not making it from scratch on Sunday, if you're just heating it up, somebody's preparing food in some manner on a Sunday. And then you think more at a societal level, the all sorts of good and necessary works that need to be done on a Sunday. I mean, aren't you thankful that the police don't quit on Sunday? You are thankful if your house is getting robbed, right? Aren't you thankful that the fireman doesn't boycott Sunday, right? You're thankful if you're in the car accident or if your house is on fire, right? Aren't you thankful that the doctor or nurse doesn't boycott helping you in the ER or in the intensive care unit on Sunday? Aren't you thankful? We would call these acts. Chuck is particularly thankful. That's an inside joke. That's how Chuck met Lisa. And he can't help but always think about his love when it comes to the hospital. Okay, that set aside. I mean, aren't you thankful? And so, am I going to stand up here today and be able to perfectly articulate, well, what is a work of necessity and what isn't? And I'm just going to confess to you, I'm not smart enough, I'm not wise enough to give you all the nitty-gritty details of what is or isn't a work of necessity. What I'm saying to you is this, that you need to have a category for a work of necessity, right? Right? If an ox falls into a ditch, in Jesus' day, what did they do? They got the ox out. And Jesus said, hey, if I heal a guy on the Sabbath, I mean, isn't the guy that much more important than the ox? Remember, man isn't made for the Sabbath is made for man, right? Okay. So engage in acts of necessity. Now, let me preach for a moment on this soapbox. Let's engage in acts of mercy. Let's engage in acts of mercy. This is probably an area where I feel most personally convicted. I was telling my wife this morning as I was giving her a preview of the sermon, I said, you know what I'm convicted with reference to our family's Sabbath observance? I said this, I feel like we rest well. I feel like we are very much committed to worship. I feel like we need to be prayerful about engaging in more acts of mercy. What would be an act of mercy? Visiting the sick to minister encouragement to their heart. What would be an act of mercy? Going to that elderly care facility, right? And trying to brighten a person who lives there, their day. An act of mercy. What would be an act of mercy? Inviting that person into your home that doesn't enjoy the same degree of Christian warmth and hospitality in their home that you enjoy 6 days a week, and sharing a little bit of that slice of heaven with them in Christian fellowship. Acts of mercy. Going out and sharing your faith. That's a really kind thing to do. You say, well, I don't really have time for that Monday through Saturday. Well, there is a day that God's given us for the purpose of rest and worship. And in that category of worship, there are these things that we call acts of mercy. And go tell somebody about Jesus on the Lord's Day. Spend yourself in that manner, engaging in acts of necessity and mercy.